Okay guys, thank you for tuning back in. Amber's out teaching and this is her pupil's third bay park that she's ever done in her life. So we're doing forward bay parks today. Amber's working diligently and they're both assessing where the correct place or a good place to be doing a forward bay park. So we've got the girls moving forward and thinking about where they're going to do a bay park. I'm assuming it's a forward right bay park. So this is the third bay park she's done in her life. She's never done bay parking before. She's learning it today with one of our trainers, and that's with our boss, Amber. Okay, so she's setting herself up, she's slowing down, she's looked in the mirrors and she's establishing a reference. So she's moving forward until she's found a reference that she's happy with. Now it doesn't matter what bay you go into. She's running away from me, isn't she? It doesn't matter what bay you go into in your driving test, they don't care. They don't ask you to park between two parked cars, it's not an issue. So she stopped, she's now going to signal right. That shows that she's going into the bay on the right. Then she's doing all round observations. And then she'll give a little bit of gas as she's going into the bay, but she'll make sure there's nobody here over her shoulder. Now, if you've watched the last two videos, you'll see that we were going over the line with the back wheel. Now that that person's here, she needs to either go into a bay, or she needs to stop for that car. Now she stopped moving. Now we can see the back wheel is over that line. That means her reference, she's turning before her reference. Now we know the reference was working because the first time she did it, it worked. The second time it worked. The third time you can see she's turning earlier and earlier, but she's correcting the maneuver as she's going into the bay. Now you'll see the car's at a slight angle, but it's still perfectly fine for a driving test. The only thing she needs to worry about is the front left-hand corner, which she's not touching, so it's perfectly fine. This would pass for a driving test, no problem at all. That's perfectly fine. That would pass. However, what we need to do now is adjust her forward reference point when she's coming in. However, it's perfectly fine. She wouldn't need to fix this on her driving test. But let's see what she does. Now I believe she's going to continue reversing until she gets close to the bays behind her, which is the fastest and the least intrusive way of correcting a bay park. So she's going to keep reversing until she's very close to this line, and then she should be steering left then right, then a very quick left and right to fix the positioning. So now she needs to steer to the left, so that wheel should stick out. There we are. When she does that, she'll be getting close to this line on the left, as close as she can, and then she'll steer to the right to correct. You can see her getting close to the line on the left, and now she's steering to the right to correct her position. Now she shouldn't be really doing that until she's gone past that line, so perhaps she needs to steer more to the left next time. But she'll manage it, she'll get in without a problem. Yeah, that's fine. She'll move forward until that back wheel clears the white line. That line there. There we are. Lovely. That's fantastic. I'm quite happy with that. I'm actually quite proud that she's managed that on there. She's touching the line there. So what she needs to do now is establish whether she's on the line at the front of the car. Now she's opened the door. Both of them have opened the door and they've had a look. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if they've worked out, to see if they've worked out that the front wheel is touching the line. Although that would pass a driving test, no problem. Personally, if that was me, I would do a full lock to the left. So that wheel, instead of it being like this, it ends up like this. And then reverse back a few inches, then straighten the car. And that would correct that fault. In fact, by even stopping there, she would still pass the test. While she's doing this, she needs to look around the car park and make sure anyone coming into the car park from here, from there, are not affecting her. So she's reversed back. This is the second attempt she's got. So you're permitted 2 adjustments, and this is the last adjustment she's allowed. So personally, I would have moved like backwards the least amount of time. And the reason for that is to make sure that I'm not making it harder than it already is. So now that she's made the adjustment, she's away from there. But the danger is you'll go over this line, like she's doing now. So the adjustment you make, what you must remember is when you're bay parking, what you must remember is there should only be a little bit of clearance, not more than like 2 feet. Because bays are very narrow and they only need the space to park cars. So we can see on this side, we've got about 2 foot. On that side, she's going over the line. So if she finished her driving test like this, she would fail a driving test. And the reason for that is that wheel is over that line. So if it was on the line, it'd be fine, but because it's over the line, it wouldn't be accepted. So I go back to the point that I made a few moments ago. Do you know this? When she was reversing her car, all she had to do was reverse left. So reverse, do a full look to the left and reverse a few feet to come off the line. So it would have been very helpful for her to get out of the car and have a look and see how much she needs to turn. So once she's got a visual idea, it would have worked. Now, visual idea, your examiner does not mind if you get out of the car as long as you ask permission. So you'd park the car and you'd say, I'm just going to pop out and have a look and make sure I'm happy. And once you've made sure and you're happy, then you'd make the adjustment, because if you can visually see how much you need to adjust, you then will do. So now she's going to move forward and go into the bay, and then she's made the adjustment. However, the adjustment for a driving lesson, no problem, but for her driving test, she would have failed her test for that adjustment, because she made 2, she's not allowed a 3rd. Now you'll see there, she's away from that line. That means she's either very, very close to this line or over the line. We can see that happening again. And she'll just about clear it, just about. If she moves forward a couple of more feet, you'll see that she'll clear the line. There, that's a test pass now. There we are, ladies and gents. Thank you for watching.